This is a production of kmmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show... First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to Thanksgiving week. I hope everybody has great plans for this entire week and is going to enjoy themselves. And first of all, I got to talk to Eric because it's a beautiful day outside. And what does Thanksgiving look like? Are we going to lose power and it's going to be windy and awful and icky, or is it going to be a wonderful Thanksgiving as usual?
Well, it looks like it's going to be decent. We're talking 48 degrees and, a little bit overcast, but all the better to be inside and enjoying time with your family and enjoying a nice meal.
That's very true. That's very true. And by the way, I didn't have a chance to talk to you, but can we play the promo for Wellness Blooms?
Sure. Yeah. The pilot episode is what you're talking about?
One. Yeah, exactly. And I hate to throw that to you, but this is live, and this is a live show, so that happens occasionally because I forgot to mention it earlier.
Not a problem. You want to do that now?
Well, but why don't we do that now? And by the way, this is a pilot that Natural Design put together in conjunction with kmmedia.pro. It is now with the Bloom TV network, and it really is sensational. And if you're able to watch this, that's terrific. If you're able to hear it, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is Positive Talk Radio on YouTube, and you can watch it there. So with that, why don't we go ahead and play it, Eric? And if you'd be so kind. Thank you, sir.
Welcome to Wellness Blooms by naturaldesign.com, where we deep dive into a product or process related to your wellness and how flowers can make it happen in your everyday life. The gifts I want to share with you are the zen feelings of a walk in a forest trail, or on a mountain with the wind blowing through the leaves on the trees, sitting in a beautiful arboretum greenhouse with a water fountain and birds.
My name is Holly Berry, and I'm the creative director at naturaldesign.com. I'll be your sagely guide, taking you all the way from the flower, through the process, and then to the party. We'll be connecting you to nature through the language of flowers.
What will you see and learn by hanging out with us for Wellness Blooms episodes? Think floral fusion for spa and wellness related topics. This episode will teach you how to make your own anti-anxiety tea. And then we'll throw you a tea party decorated with flowers. To get started, we'll learn about the flowers and plants that go into your tea recipe. Let's go meet some of the experts from Bastyr University.
And that is just the very beginning of the pilot that we put together for Wellness Blooms and naturaldesign.com. You should go there and talk to Holly Berry about everything that's there. And in addition to that, in addition to having a pilot that we've put out, we also have a magazine that we have out that we're going to do something really kind of special here in just a second. So I hope that you will stay here and grab a pen and a paper because Amber is with us. Amber, how are you today, ma'am?
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm awesome, thank you, and it's great to see you again. By the way, we have a house full of people, and so everybody needs to stay tuned. We're going to talk about gardening. We're going to talk about a brand new book that's coming out from our friends, the Pastanistas, and all kinds of good stuff. But first, you've got something special that you would like to do today, don't you?
I do. I have more copies of our limited edition print magazine, the Pacific Northwest Collaborative Magazine, and I'm giving away a copy today to any of our listeners who comment. Is it on the YouTube? They're
Yep.
going to leave a comment there. What do they need to say in the comments if they want a copy of the magazine?
My, aren't you beautiful? No, how they can say that, or they can say, "Hey, I want the magazine."
Okay, just let us know if you're interested in receiving a copy. And I'm sending out the copies all at the same time. So they will be shipped within a week or two as soon as we get through this round of, this round with Wellness Blooms. So,
And what we would invite you to do, if you're not sure whether or not this collector's item is something you want to put in your portfolio, go to kmmedia.pro, and there's um, a selection at the top where you can go and look at the magazine and then decide there are three different editions out for spring, fall, or spring, summer, and fall, and so you're welcome to do that. And it would be awesome if you would like to do that. Amber, tell us again how they can do that.
So you can go to Positive Talk Radio's YouTube channel and go ahead and leave a comment under this episode and let us know that you're interested in receiving the magazine. And this is for the autumn edition, here, autumn 2023. And we do have a winter edition coming out this January. And that will complete our 2023 collection. We have some really great artists. I know we have a fireball artist. We have a cake artist, and we have another artist, a couple other artists in the magazine. Yeah, it's going to be another great issue coming this winter. But again, this is only for autumn. So, yeah.
Well, but you can also look at summer and spring. And if you would like to buy or have one delivered to you there, you just drop us a line and we'll figure out a way to do that. I'm not sure how we
Sure,
do that yet, but I'll figure that out. I'll take responsibility for that. Amber.
Sure. Yeah, we're going to have a whole collection come the end of the year. So that'll be a nice thing to have on hand. It's some amazing people. I just love the people that we're getting involved in this magazine. We also have a really talented musician, Ian, from Ukraine, who recently moved here due to the war. And he's making music just to kind of get through the grief of the war, and he's going to also be in our magazine. Yes. Sorry.
That's right. He's also going to be in the magazine.
Are you still there?
We are still here.
Or did I lose you?
Oh, well, I think maybe you lost.
Hang on, I can't hear you.
Oh, well, we can hear you. Can you hear? So in any event, go to the YouTube channel and just in the chat, put in, I would like to have the magazine, and we will add you into the drawing to get that magazine, and we'll send it to you. Amber, are you back?
So I can't hear you anymore, Kevin.
Oh, that's all right. I'm not worth hearing anyway.
For whatever
what we're going to do, I am so sorry for that. That's just technology for you. What do you know? But I would like to continue now, and we're going to introduce Kaitana, and she is with us, and she's going to be here. Hey there, how you doing, kid?
Hello, how are you? I'm doing great. And you?
I'm doing great as well. And I'm welcome to the show. You're going to be doing some of the interviewing that we're going to be talking about today. But first, before we get into that, I want to introduce the person who's going to introduce the rest of the panel, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Holly Berry, are you there, my dear?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
You, this
Good
is
job.
yeah, this is live radio, and so it just is what it is. So
Yeah, good job rolling with it.
but I would love for you to introduce everybody that you've worked so hard. By the way, I just have to say that Holly Berry is creative director for A Natural Design, and the pilot and the magazine. She's had a whole lot to do with both of those. She's extraordinarily talented. She also, naturaldesign.com. You can go there. You can order flowers in the Redmond, Bothell, Kirkland, the northern part of the city, or the east side, and you can do all that. And her stuff is unbelievably awesome, and she's really talented. So you should go there, and you can do that by just going to naturaldesign.com. There, I've done your commercial for you.
You do such good commercials. Well, and for all our amazing listeners out there, we are streaming live right now. Today is November 20th, 2023, Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. We have a live moderator. And so if you want a copy of an actual physical copy of the Pacific Northwest magazine featuring us, you just comment on the show on YouTube for Positive Talk Radio on this, and we'll find your information so we can send it out for you. It would make an awesome stocking stuffer. It's a beautiful, very it's like not boutique, but it's also fashion. It's very cool. It definitely screams Pacific Northwest, which it's named after. And thank you to Amber, she's the editor of it and the creator of it. And she was also, for the viewers watching this YouTube, she was also one of the models in the TV pilot episode, Wellness Blooms, that we played the intro of. And she also decorated for me the cake with the cake toppers. So she was highly part of the whole process of creating this pilot TV episode that we're here to talk about today. So thank you for that, Amber. I know you have to run, but we do appreciate everything that you've done. So I am happy to introduce some more people. So our featured guest today is actually one of the gardeners for Bastyr University, and Bastyr University was the content matter experts for the tea in the pilot episode, and we teach you how to make this tea fresh from the garden. And her name is Nicole. And is it Telks or Telkies?
We'll have her decide what that
Welcome,
is.
Nicole. Go ahead and
welcome.
Introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hi, I'm Nicole Telkish.
Telkish. Gotcha. Very, very good. It's great to have you here. And of course, you do something that interests me. Well, I'm not a gardener, so I have no idea what you're going to talk about, which is why I've invited a bunch of people who do have an idea what you're going to talk about to talk to you about that. So I'll turn it back over to Holly.
Perfect. Okay. And like Kevin said earlier, we have Kayatana. She's one of the co-hosts. Kevin is the host of Positive Talk Radio. And our other two special guests are the pop culture passionistas. See, I said it wrong, Kevin. You got me. Passionistas, Amy and Nancy Harrington. And they have a big book release today. And so it's so fun because I just found out it's a success kind of journal. I'll let them talk about it more, but they interviewed, I think, over 50 people, and I was one of them. And I found out I was in this book, and this book was being released, but it has quotes from all these entrepreneur ladies and more. And then it has like a workshop journal side where it helps you deep dive and think about success specifically, is what the book is dedicated to. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And today is the big release on Amazon for that book. So after the show, I will be going there and ordering stocking stuffers for all my gals. Welcome, Amy and Nancy.
Hello. Thank you for having us, and thank you for that beautiful plug of our journal. We're so glad you're a part of it. And Kevin, thank you. It's always so nice to be here with you.
Oh, you guys are our favorites, absolutely our favorites, and primarily because of the work that you do for the planet and for women in general, and women of color, and women that are considered in some cases less than. Maybe they have special needs or a lot of different things, and you guys are working with them, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. But first, I think that what we should do is honor Nicole's time. And Caetana, you've got some questions for Nicole, and it's great to have you here. By the way, when you look at the pilot that has been released on Bloom TV Network, you're going to see some of the most wonderful displays of plants. I don't know. They're just plants to me, but there are people who actually know what they are, which is really cool. And Nicole does a fabulous job of making sure that all of that is put together in a way that everything flows and it grows and it's great. Is that kind of okay, Nicole, to say that?
Yeah, I'm the supervisor, so I have a team that works with students to make sure that it's actually a classroom, a living classroom. And so we use it in some of the botanical medicine and naturopathic medicine classes, and plant ID and all sorts of different things at Bastyr. So it has to be accurate and it has to be thriving. So we make sure that's happening. And right now we're putting it to bed.
So what does that mean exactly?
Well, there's over 300, maybe even closer to 350 medicinal and edible plants, and some of them are low dose. Some of them are nutritious and edible, and some of them are primarily for therapeutic use. And so we have signage, and we need to make sure that all of those plants are, because if you have a garden, if anyone here has a garden, that you know that sometimes the plants that you plant don't stay where you want them to be. And so this is a garden that's been evolving for over 2 decades now and so there's plants all over the place that have decided they want to be in other beds. So we're always creating atmosphere to make sure that everything is accurate and able to be used in a functional manner.
Holly, did you have a question?
Well, so I know a lot of people haven't seen the episode yet, and I'm curious if were you able to see the tea recipe by chance for?
I was not, but Dr. Daisy told me about the recipe and was asking what we had available. So I was showing her what was there. So I believe it was like passion flower, vervain, and a few others that were in the nervine bed.
Yeah, and like rose and chamomile. I'm really curious about skullcap because that was one that was new to me. I've heard the name around, but I don't know much about it. I'm not an herbalist. I'm a florist. So any general medicinal or, edible related information on that would be much appreciated if you want to free talk on that or anything else you'd like to share.
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to rephrase or what you just said or in a different way. You said you're not an herbalist. I'm going to say you're not an herbalist yet.
Ooh, I love that.
You are. I think everybody has a little herbalist living in them where they grew up making potions and looking around at plants and animals and different things and trying to figure out what they did or just at least dreamt about it a little bit. And so I think I'm really fortunate because I've spent most of my adult life working with plants in some sort of therapeutic manner, whether it's spiritual, emotional, physical, or otherwise. And so skullcap in particular is a very easy to grow, lovely mint family plant. And it's Latin binomial, which is what its official Latin name is, which is how we identify plants when there's a lot of them, because there's some common names that are the same. So like in Spanish, there's this yerba buena, which means good herb. And there's like 20 yerba buenas. So you have to kind of know the Latin to know when somebody's talking about, or at least have a family member that can distinguish the different ones. So skullcap is a mint family plant known as Scutellaria laterifolia. But there's other skullcaps as well. There's native skullcaps that grow in different parts of North America and the world. And so we have a well-known, it's the official one that's in commerce, Scutellaria laterifolia, and it has little blue flowers on it, very cute. And what's really exciting is if you look at them with what I call a fairy lens, which is a little hand lens that lets you look at the flowers up close, and you usually want like a 10x or a 15x when you're looking at botanical parts. And when you look at those little flowers, they look like little helmets, like a skull, so skull cap. And so those, that's actually thought of as a doctrine of signatures, which is that plants were thought to look like what they were good for. So in this particular way, skullcap is thought of as being good for the head and headaches. But it's also a general nervine. And what I love about skullcap is, unlike a lot of herbs in commerce, there's not too many side effects or issues with skullcap long term. And so a lot of times you can add skullcap into a lot of mixes for longer term purposes, whether it's calming or generalized pain, anxiety, things like that. And I like it better than things like kava or some of the other plants that are coming from across the ocean, because it's much more sustainable to be growing this in our gardens, like and not having to, extend our footprints that far. So it's very easy to grow in Seattle. Very, very easy.
And Nicole, when you said one of the names in Spanish, Cayetana just lit up because she understood exactly what you were saying. So,
Yeah.
Cayetana, do you have a question?
Yeah, no, definitely. I remember being a child, and for everything we use yerba buena. Oh, you have this. Okay, yerba buena. Oh, yerba buena for everything. Even for cooking. Even for cooking, yerba buena.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fascinated by what you do. I always been interested in herbs more than I love flowers, but for some reasons growing up, I was called like the grandma of the family because I was the only child in the family who drank tea. And all these herbal teas, it was a collection of teas just for me because no one really liked them. And so, and it's really interesting that I wasn't an herbalist. I didn't become an herbalist like you. But I'm a lover of herbs, and I'm always, ¿cómo se llama? Sorry, in Spanish. Investigating a few herbs that I can put in my body. I'm all into, ¿cómo se llama? Cleaning and fixing our disease through natural herbs and all the goodness that is out there, and our fingers, tips for more or less for us to take care of, instead of going and spending a lot of money in medicines that sometimes really hurts other parts of our bodies when we take them. Instead of curing something, change the whole thing. I am fascinated also by your book, The Medicinal Plants of Texas. And, and I would like to know, how did you start the project, and what lessons did you learn in the process, and what discoveries also did you make in the process of making this book a reality?
Well, that's funny because that book is it was my first book. And then I have another book, Herbcraft, which is the complete guide to 21st century holistic Western herbalism. But the medicinal plants of Texas, I was living in a bioregion that, what I noticed, and this, you could say this in Seattle, you could say this in any part of the world, that you have to kind of get to know what's growing around you, because at any moment, like when the pandemic shut things down and suddenly we were out of mullein or elderberry, like we have to know what's around us and just know some of the basics, and whether or not you become a professional herbalist isn't important. It's more important that we're all home herbalists so that we know, and that's what all of our grandmothers and grandfathers always did. There was just a generation or two, there was a little gap there. And so we're just kind of reconnecting now and finding out what's in our bioregion. So I did the medicinal plants of Texas because for me, that was a bioregional exploration of what could we use in an area where there wasn't a lot of the Eurocentric things. Like the Scutellaria laterifolia here all over, it does not grow in the South. So up here in Seattle, I got to really take on a challenge and learn how to garden in basically, but what's weird, we're in the same region, we're in the same growing zone, 8B, same growing zone as where I was down in the South, which means the same sorts of plants can grow. We have almost the same amount of water, but it all comes at once in the South compared to the North. So I have this real fascination with connecting to whatever's local and growing around you, and how to create a herb garden that's easy for you and that doesn't take a lot. It shouldn't be hard. You shouldn't get stressed out trying to figure it out, because even the weeds that are coming up, they usually are there for a reason and trying to tell you something. So there's lots of weeds here that we can use, especially in spring. And the book that I did was mainly to explore that bioregion. So it's not really applicable now up here, but it was a love letter to my bioregion when I was there. And then and now I'm up here exploring a different one, and have been in here for quite some time. So it's been fun learning how to garden in different areas.
Nicole, I have a question for you. You are, I have to tell you, you're very bright and wise at what you do. How long has it taken you to get to where you are today, as far as educationally?
I'm always learning. So to me, I feel like this has been a lifelong journey, and I am obsessed with plants. And some people start by getting obsessed with flowers, and then they start going, but what do these flowers do? And then, or a botanist might be looking at plants for a really long time and being like, they're so interesting. And then they start to wonder, but what do they do? And this is part of a tradition that's been going on for thousands of years. Humans and plants, we've always worked together. We've always had a relationship. And it's just, to me, starting to rekindle that relationship and do it my whole life. I feel like there's never an end to it. So for me, it's just exciting and joyful to always be learning more.
Is it possible that because plants have been around a long time, that we have forgotten more about plants than are out there, and we've kind of replaced pharmaceuticals with those because that's what we're told to do? But can we achieve the same things with natural plants as pharmaceuticals in this day and age?
Oh, that's a loaded question there, because
I know, that's why I asked it.
I mean, that depends. You're going to hear that a lot from herbalists, whether it's what will that grow here or what do I use for that? A lot of things just depend on the situation. There's a place for pharmaceuticals and there's a place for herbs. And usually I like to use them. If you have a good integrative medicine team, they're going to know when to use what. And so I'm not 100% in any one direction, because I've had a lot of clients that needed pharmaceuticals at the time and then they only needed herbs. So it just depends what it is.
And Holly, you had your hand up when you were going, I love flowers, and she was saying that was going to evolve into more and more and more. I think you're in the middle of evolving into more and more and more.
I am, yeah, and I'm so excited for people to see the pilot episode. And I think Amy and Nancy are even waiting to see the pilot episode. But yeah, over 2023 summer, we put in hundreds of hours of filming and production and screenwriting and acting, and it is now in one piece, hosted on bloomtvnetwork.com. It's called Wellness Blooms. If you go to bloomtvnetwork.com and you do want to sign up with the TV network, you can get $20 off by typing in my name as a promo code. How cool is that? It's just all caps, all one word, Hollyberry, HOLLYBERRY. And if you want to see it in December, we're going to be airing the director's cut 2 different dates. I think it's Sunday the 10th and 17th,
Correct.
2 o'clock. Yeah, yay, thank you. 2 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And our live moderator, Miss Demi, the amazing Miss Demi, has put the links in the description on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/the little @ Positive Talk Radio. So you can find the invite to that there, as well as a lot of other great information.
And because it's a world premiere, we're going to have an imaginary red carpet. And so what we'll have is an imaginary red carpet and an imaginary interviews by the Pastanese, by you guys. And because it's going to be great. It's going to be great fun. So that's the 10th or the 17th. If you have a desire to do that and to join us for that, Holly, how do they get that done? How do they invite themselves?
Yeah, you can comment on any of these shows that's dedicated to wellness blooms, and we'll get you that link if you didn't find it in the description. You can also contact me at anaturaldesign.com, and I can send you any of the information related to any of the people on these awesome wellness bloom shows as well.
And Nicole, I understand that you're on a bit of a timeline, but I wanted to give you enough of an opportunity that you could, or unless Cayetana, do you have another question to ask real quick?
Yes, I have another question for Nicole. And this one, I want to know more about your podcast, the Wild Spirit podcast.
Oh my gosh, you're asking me about all this.
I love this type of topics.
I had to, one of the things that happened during the pandemic, which I think we all went through, was that we were trying all sorts of different things to keep going. And so I ended up on the internet all the time. And I used to be an herbalist that was all in person. And so I was doing podcasts, I have online classes, I have all this stuff. And I got to tell you, Bastyr has been such a great thing, because they offered me a place to come back to my roots and actually work outside with people. And so my podcast, I haven't touched it since I started working outside with plants again, because I missed being outside with plants. So it's much more, I think I'll go back to it at some point, but I started that when I was forced to be alone because I wanted to be with people. And now, I just really enjoy connecting plants and people together. So the gardens at Bastyr have been where I've put most of my efforts right now, rather than that podcast. But there's a lot to that. You're asking all sorts of interesting questions that I didn't realize we'd go in that direction. I was getting ready to talk all about weeds and seasonality and what herbs to plant. But yeah, there's another direction that we could always go.
Nicole, I'm learning, because I it's not in me. If there isn't football involved in grass, I don't know anything about plants. But I would love to have you back on, because it is a fascinating topic that a lot of people are really interested in, the depth of knowledge that you have about that. And you're welcome to come back, and you can pick up your podcast on my podcast.
Well, that would be wonderful. But I do want to give people something I have a few minutes, and I would love to leave people with a few gardening tips, just so that we can talk about some of the medicines to think about. Like, if you're getting really excited about planting something, and maybe I like to get people addicted to herbalism. So, and make it easy and fun, right? So some of the things I wanted to bring up were just a few things to think about when you're planning for spring. And because right now everything's going to sleep. It's really cute, because we're putting our compost and mulch on top of all the beds, and they're all being cut back and just kind of resting for the next few months. And so this is a good time to really think about, what would you like to see next spring when things warm up again. And you could spend your whole winter planning. As a gardener, we never stop planning. We're always like, people are like, what do you do in the winter? we're propagating, we're doing winter planting, we're getting seeds, we're doing all sorts of stuff. So this is a year-round kind of lifestyle. And for me, if I was going to start with some plants, if I wanted to just start somewhere really easy for the Seattle area, there's a couple of annuals and even a perennial I was going to mention. So, or a couple perennials. So calendula, these you can't really mess up with calendula. Okay, so calendula is going to be a plant that is a really happy little garden plant that's very weedy, and you can grow from seed, and it's really hard to kill it. So if you're just getting started, it's got beautiful yellow flowers, and I think of it as a very cheerful little plant, and it's got very mild immunomodulatory components, so it kind of helps to strengthen and balance the immune system. And it also has antimicrobial aspects. So a lot of people make it into oils and salves to help with wound care. And so that's a good one to start with. So I'll just kind of leave it there. That we could do an hour on just calendula, but we'll just stop there. So easy to get those seeds. And then poppies. Poppies are one that you could plant right about now. Poppy seeds are easy, and the reason I'm encouraging you to do these, because these are the kind that you could throw these seeds on the ground, and most likely at least one's going to come up, and it's going to be well worth it, because poppy flowers are gorgeous. So that's a nice one to start with, because when it comes up, and if it makes it over winter and then comes up, you're going to be well rewarded by having some poppies in there. And those are sudorific, or what we would call calming plants. But they do have, some intricacies there. So I would just recommend using them as more of a something to look at rather than use. But wood betony is another one that's like skullcap. It's known as a calming nerve tonic, like skullcap, and it's more perennial than annual. So an annual is going to be something that dies at the end of the year. Perennials will come back year after year. So it's really great, because you get them going and then you get these flowers every year. So wood betony is another nerve tonic, really beautiful purple flowers. And echinacea, another very rewarding plant to put into your garden. Really hard to go wrong with it. And after the third year, you get to harvest the root, and then you can actually separate the root and replant all the babies. And so you never have to worry about killing it, because you always have pups. But you have to have at least 3 years with it. And if you ever come stroll in the Bastyr Gardens, you'll see we have a whole bed that's dedicated to different kinds of calendula and wood betony and poppies and echinacea. And then finally, yarrow. I want to bring up yarrow because yarrow is such an important plant for any gardener, any first-time gardener. If you are going to start with any plant, you need to have yarrow as an herbalist in your bed, because yarrow is going to be a styptic and astringent and antimicrobial plant. So if you cut your finger, you can walk outside, chew on a leaf, and put it on your finger. So it's great for kitchen gardens, because it'll stop bleeding and help with wounds. So that's something I keep outside my kitchen garden all the time. So wherever I am, there's the yarrow. I think I've probably spread yarrow across the entire West. I've spread it all through the Central Texas, up through the West Coast, just kept moving it around beds and giving it to people, because such a useful plant. So I did want to just leave people with a couple of plants to think about for spring, and think about how beautiful spring's going to be, and how you can plan and be ready for it when it's coming.
Apparently, you have been in my kitchen when I've been cooking, because I need something to solve my cuts that I get. And
Yarrow.
oh, by the way, we love poppies, because you know that poppies are what put Dorothy to sleep in The Wizard
Yes.
of Oz.
Yes, they did. They did. And we have so many beautiful ones. There's so many colors, so many shapes, so many sizes of them, and they are just gorgeous. And they'll totally be like one of the first beauties that comes in after calendula. So, yeah.
And by the way, somebody says, thank you, Nicole. I live in the Bastyr neighborhood and would love to, maybe that's even Holly, would love to come and buy you lunch. It's the Poppy lady down below.
Anytime. Our gardens are open, so people can just come through and they can either ask for a tour and we can organize that. That's usually by donation, or people can just come and wander. And lots of neighborhood folks do it, and it's really inspiring and helps people to plan themselves what they might want to see. It's just a beautiful place to sit and enjoy. So I'd love to have people there.
I grew up in that area as well. It's a beautiful area, and that is really is paramount in the pilot we did, because we've got drone footage of the entire area, and it really is fantastic. So Nicole, thank you for coming, and will you come back and see us again?
I'd be happy to.
Well, we'd be happier if you did, because you've got lots of information for us.
I do. It's my passion.
And could you, the most significant thing that you said, what is the difference between a perennial and an annual? I always get the two mixed up.
An annual is going to die at the end of the season, so it's going to have a lot of seeds. Think poppy seeds, lots of seeds. But a perennial is going to live year after year, so it stores more in its roots, and that's why you'll see that sort of medicine gathered for its roots, because it's got a lot of storage there that it can live off of over winter.
Very cool. That helps a great deal. So annuals are the ones that you have to replant every year.
Yes.
Very cool. So thank you again. And Holly, would you like to take a moment to introduce our next contestants? Kidding.
I would. And thank you again, Nicole. We know you got to be off and running, but we can't wait to have you back. That was amazing. Thank you for making sure that our listeners got to hear all the tips for what to do currently in the garden.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
that
you.
was a lot of fun. I'm like, I know yarrow. We actually use yarrow in floristry. I didn't know it was so beneficial for cuts in the garden. Yeah. I'm super excited because I've been doing a micro flower farm on our property. It's called in business. My degree is in business. And so it's called vertical integration. So if you can replace your dependency on suppliers and merchandise by vertically integrating up the supply chain. And so we've been starting to do a micro flower farm here on the property, and yarrow, along with, I'm going to have to I wrote all those names down. I'm going to have to start plugging those in right now. It's so exciting. So our next guests are Amy and Nancy Harrington. They're the Passionistas Project gals, and they have a book that just came out today, and it's all about success. And there it is. And I think, are we giving away one to someone requesting a copy in the comments on this show?
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, tell our listeners all about it. And Cayetana and Kevin, if you end up having questions, feel free to pop in there. I just want to say I love the quote. So I'm in this book. I'm going to be buying it for stocking stuffers for all my gal pals. And I love the quote they picked is so hilarious and awesome. And I think it actually came from a conversation I was having with my sibling. And it's just okay, everybody has to get this now. So, okay, go ahead, Amy and Nancy and Kevin. It looks like you have a question too.
Before we begin with that, I did have a question, because these two ladies were on the red carpet of major awards for many, many years. Did you ever interview a Munchkin?
No, I believe all the Munchkins have passed away, as far as I know.
Well, Danny DeVito was close.
But I'm trying to think if anybody at all, even legacy, we never even got to interview Liza Minnelli or anybody like that. Someday, hopefully.
Someday. Well, yes. Hopefully she'll. Anyway, go ahead now with the book. I just had to ask.
So this is called The Power of Passionistas: Creating Your Own Success Story, a guided journal. And Amy and I, for now 6 years, I think, 5 or 6 years, have had our own podcast where we interview women who are following their passions. And so what we've done is we have pulled 52 quotes from those interviews. And we've created a guided journal. So on one page is the quote, and then on the next page is a prompt. So you can read the quote, and then you can follow the prompt to think about what that quote would mean. And the goal is to guide you through the journal of coming up with your own definition of success, rather than the societal definition of success means you make a lot of money, you have a big job title, you have a giant house, or you drive a nice car. Some people's success just means getting up out of bed every day, and Holly Berry's definition of success is,
That was my question.
yes, success is like this juggling act. If you're not dropping any one of the balls at any particular time, then you're doing it right. I love that quote. And the prompt that goes along with that is, what are you juggling right now? And how can you get in a better flow so you don't drop any balls?
Very nice.
All right. So then you journal about that. And then it also has planners in here so that you can write down your goals and the steps towards reaching them. And so there's a quarterly planner every, it's divided into quarters, the whole journal. So it's a great book, and it went on sale today on Amazon. So we're trying to get as many people as possible to buy it today, get our ranking up. So we're very, very excited. And like Holly says, it makes a great holiday gift.
And we've already gone up 200,000 spots in the last 24 hours. So we got a ways to go, but
200,000. How many spots are there?
You'd be amazed.
A lot of books on Amazon.
Well, 200,000 is not inconsequential, by the way.
That's right.
We're excited.
And if somebody wants to buy the book off of Amazon, is there a code word or how do they get there?
The easiest way is just search Power of Passionistas, and the book will pop right up.
Yep, it's only available on Amazon right now. We're going to expand that later, but for now, we're just focused on Amazon.
Or if you go to our website, thepassionistasproject.com/success journal, there's links there.
And we put the links on the description for the shows too, on the live streams like Facebook and YouTube.
Excellent. Thank you.
Now, that is for a year. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 52 prompts, so you can do one a week.
This is what I'm suggesting that our listeners do. Plan to do 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say 5 years is that by the time you get to year 5 and then you go back to year 1, you're going to see your development from when you started to year 5, and it will be huge.
Right.
That's very cool. We also are going to be releasing
journals, right?
We are actually already started to work on our second journal in the series. So we have to now come up. That's our new challenge, is coming up with 5.
Oh, you'll do it. You'll do it. I know Holly. She's got lots of quotes. Just follow her around for about 20 minutes and you'll come up with something else.
I have a
that
feeling
just means I'm a
quotes.
Oh,
too.
go ahead.
I said I have a feeling Cayetana has some quotes too. That would be good.
Yeah, she does.
Plenty. Oh my God. Oh, my friends always, quoting me because I say funny things. I'm a little bit a comedian, I guess. I make up words. I was just also going to ask about the journal, if the days are fitted or fixed, or we can use it any year regardless. You put your own dates in there.
Yeah, no, it's just a prompt. They're not even numbered, so you can just go. You could go through it at your own pace. You could do it as quickly as you wanted, but no, it's just one a week. You can start anytime. It's not like you have to start on January 1st.
Yeah.
You can start it whenever you like and go at your own pace. So, and like Nancy said, there are quarterly planners in here, so it's great. We have a friend that always does the 12-week year, which is a kind of philosophy of organizing your life, and so it's nice to stop every few months and kind of assess where you're at and think about where you want to go in the next 12 weeks. So you don't have to bite off a huge, oh my God, if I don't have my year planned out, what am I going to do? You can just take it in smaller pieces and get your head around it.
Which makes a great deal of sense, because you need to just relax and do it point by point, day by day. But if you get into the habit of doing the journal every day, you'd be amazed at the type of changes that it will begin in your own life. So what made you guys think of this?
Buying for people too, for presents. Yeah.
So what made you guys think of this?
Well, these things just come to us, Kevin. We got a million ideas. If we had a staff of people, we'd get even more done. But I don't know where the idea for this came from. We just wanted to do a book, and we're always looking for ways to spotlight the women like Holly, these amazing women that we've interviewed or that we've connected with over the years. And we thought, what better way than to just use their words to, again, continue to inspire other people. So it just seemed natural to grab these quotes and then come up with the prompts. Am I missing any memory here now?
I think also just that one of our standard interview questions on our podcast is, what's your definition of success? Because we've learned by talking to all those women that everyone has a different definition of success. And so I think that sort of inspired us to share all of that with people, because, especially in times like this where hard times, people are having difficulty with groceries, so expensive and everything else, that, I think a lot of people think that they have failed in some way, or that, oh, I'm not doing as well as I used to be because I'm not making as much money or whatever. And I just think that we really want to help people recognize that success isn't just about the financial end of things. Success is about achieving your goals. Success is about feeling happy. Success is about helping other people. And so all of these amazing definitions of success are in this book, and we want people to really reflect on those and define success on their own terms.
Holly?
I'm just excited because people need this kind of prompt and step-by-step guide, and freedom to know that success is more than what they've heard on TV or been told by mentors or parents when they were really young, and it needs to be redefined.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the things that's cool about the book is the women in it are the range of their experiences. We have Holly, who's a master florist. We have a woman who's a showrunner on TV series. We have a teacher and an activist. We have a anti-bullying coach. We have a founder of Nada's Coquito, which is a Cuban drink. And so we have actors and we have painters, and it's just I think there's somebody in here that every person can connect to in some way. Some people might think oh, it's about success, it's all going to be these C-suite entrepreneurs. And it's no, these are a wide variety of women doing incredibly interesting things. And there's somebody in here that you're going to have a connection to in one way or another, And I love that about the book too.
So Cayetana, what is your definition of success?
My definition of success is knowing that your path will never make sense to everyone else, but it does to you, and that's what makes you happy.
See, now we're going to have to do a second edition because that was perfect.
Love it.
Well, it's just awesome to have you here. And by the way, my definition of success is this right here. Having you guys here, and having Holly here, and Cayetana, and Nicole from before. And
Amber was even. Yeah, thank you, ladies.
And you guys, I get to be surrounded by some of the most beautiful women on the planet, and I just appreciate you all. I really do.
We're really grateful to you, Kevin, and to you, Holly, for everything, all the support. And Holly, we're thrilled that you're in the book, and Cayetana, we're so glad to know you now. It's fun to do this week after week with you guys and really connect. And so we're just really grateful. So thank you.
I can't wait to collaborate with you guys too. I think it's going to be fun.
Definitely.
Yes.
We look forward.
And just remember, everybody, the only way that you can lose is if you quit. So keep going. Never quit. I can't believe some of the things that Holly does and all the different hats she wears and pots she messes around with. It's not that kind of pot, it's like, never mind. And it's great. It's great fun. She does great work. Cayetana is new to us, but she's doing really well. We've got about a minute left, ladies. I want to give that to you to tell our audience anything you'd like them to know.
Nan?
Go ahead, Amy.
I just want everybody to know again that the power of Passionita's passion. Oh my God, Kevin!
It's catching.
It's contagious.
Power of Passionistas. Creating Your Own Success Story is available now. Went on sale today on Amazon, and it makes the perfect holiday gift for that woman in your life that is trying to redefine success on her own terms. And we hope you'll all get a copy and support women like Holly Berry too.
That's very cool, and thank you, the Passionistas and Amber and Holly and Nicole and Cayetana, actually. Cayetana, somebody else. Cayetana, and I want to thank everybody for being here, and we'll see you Wednesday at 4. And by the way, remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. We'll see you then.